My name is NADIAH SYAFITRI, internship number 2025, speaking here as opposition for motion this house for prioritizing achievement-based scholarship over underprivileged scholarship. We'll start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Third point of qualified. First, prioritizing in this motion means that we will spend more money on one type of scholarship and leave another scholarship behind, or just as it is in status quo. Second, what scholarship we are debating about are giving students money to fulfill their needs in education. So we didn't debate about scholarship for research and so on, because it is in a different field and the government also has another budget for it. Third, scholarship for the underprivileged include middle to lower class economic status. 5 ways of mechanism. First, we will leave achievement-based scholarship as it is in status quo because we believe that the status quo is already enough on how achievement-based scholarship already covers a lot of outstanding students who need to compete to get the scholarship. Second, we will prioritize more on underprivileged scholarship, which means we will give more amount of money to students and give more quota. Third, underprivileged scholarship is not only about giving money to the students, but also giving it to the school so they won't need to spend the scholarship money to pay tuition fees or SPP anymore. Fourth, government and schools or college will register the student who need scholarship, so school will have the mechanism and it will be targeted well. It can be SKTM or parents pay slip. Fifth, we use the same mechanism as KIP in Indonesia. So if you already register as KIP sekolah, you will automatically be registered in KIP kuliah. Some points that need to be understood. First, how is our status quo? In the status quo, scholarship for underprivileged students haven't worked as they should. A lot of underprivileged students still didn't get scholarship they deserve. Why? Because A, the budget for underprivileged scholarship still cannot reach all of the underprivileged students, and in some countries like Indonesia, the budget somehow or almost gets cut. B, somehow for some lower income students, it's hard for them to even get access to the scholarship information because probably they didn't have enough knowledge or internet access to even access the scholarship website. Compare how in the status quo, the achievement-based scholarship most likely targeted privileged students. Why? Because to get accepted for the scholarship, you need to be really smart, means in the first place, you already got enough access to good academic environment, e.g. school, college, or academics books, even tutoring. The opposition team will win this debate if we can prove A, why prioritizing scholarship for underprivileged students will be more beneficial, especially for our vulnerable actors. B, as a government, it will still benefit the country in the end of the day. Our stance is clear. Opposition believes that we need to prioritize underprivileged scholarship more and still have achievement-based scholarship, but just as it is in status quo. Why? First argument, understand the characteristic of our vulnerable actors. Underprivileged students have one thing in common. They are living under poverty or at least almost living in poverty. Means they really vulnerable on the economic side. When a student comes from a vulnerable economic background, it will limit their access to a lot of opportunities, especially on the academic side. When you struggle economically, it's hard for you to get into a good ranking school. Why? Most likely underprivileged students will choose a school near their house, so they won't need to spend more money on transport, or they will choose public school near their house because it's free. And in Indonesia, to get into a good ranking school, you also need more money, not only transport, but also pay another fee, for example, SPP or for your school uniform, especially for all of the high school in Indonesia that didn't get covered by the government. Even worse in university, because a lot of colleges are not affordable at all. And for the underprivileged students, they don't even dream of getting into a good ranking school or college because they barely survive school due to economic reason. For this reason, we believe that we need to prioritize scholarship for underprivileged students. First argument, prioritizing scholarship for underprivileged students can give us more outstanding academic students. Based on the characteristic of our vulnerable actors who most likely cannot afford a good quality school or even the education in the first place because of the economic reason, we believe that if we give more to them, at least it will help them to get access to a good quality school, so they won't need to worry about spending more on transport or SPP. And even if the student already accepted in not so good quality school, we believe that it's okay and still works because they still get the education they deserve first, and second, with that money, they can use it to access other economic resources outside the school, for example, tutoring or buying books. And with that, it will manifest into A, the student can access education, whether it's a good quality school or tutoring, or at very least, they can access the education at the first place. B, if the student is already educated, it will lead to how they will find their own suitable field in education. Means, if you already learned like Bahasa Indonesia, Math, Physics, or extracurricular activities, you will most likely find one or two fields that fit you and you can pursue it more. Because how can students be outstanding in economics, for example, if they never learn about it or even know that things exist? Third, and if the mechanism works, it will give us more outstanding students, not only from privileged background, but also from underprivileged. Means to be smart and educated is for everyone despite their background. Second argument, not everyone has a safety net, and the scholarship will give more vulnerable actors safety net. How? Our first sector are underprivileged students. It's a lot of underprivileged students didn't graduate junior high school, senior high school, or college because of economic reason. It can be because they could drop out because they cannot afford the tuition fee, or more of it didn't continue at all because they cannot afford the school. If we take an example of SNBT or SNBP in Indonesia, where a lot of underprivileged students join it, if we can hear a lot of students that pass the test but cannot afford the college tuition, and we can see that they actually can afford the college academically, but they don't have a safety net like parents' income or parents' saving, and it will close their opportunity to get better academic. So our regulation can be their safety net. Students didn't need to worry about financial burden anymore, because even if they get accepted in a top university, they will get a scholarship. Consider our students also talk about middle to lower income students. Means middle class students also don't need to worry if they are not poor enough to get the scholarship, like what happened in status quo. Second actor are outstanding academically underprivileged students. One thing about achievement-based scholarship is they need to compete to get the scholarship. Even before you already compete with another student to be outstanding. Understand that if in achievement-based scholarship you fail but you are privileged, obviously it will impact you, but at least you have safety net to try again. You can learn again to be better in your field without scared of running out of time to pay your tuition fee. You can still go to school without worrying about your tuition. Compare what happened to our second vulnerable actor. If they fail, they need to worry about tuition fees that are due next month, or and so on and so on. So our proposal will also help them, because an underprivileged scholarship isn't something that you need to compete to earn, but something that you deserve to get. With this, our proposal will give more benefits to vulnerable actors. Third argument, it will benefit the country in the end of the day. The proposition might say that giving money or scholarship to already outstanding students is more beneficial, because they will more likely have an impact as soon as it is built. With their outstanding background, we can agree with that point. Consider these actors already real outstanding, but we need to understand that if we compare how much students that outstanding academically and how many underprivileged students, we can see that distance won't be as impactful as they said, and it will give long-term harm. Why? Because let's say we have hundreds of students, of outstanding students, but at the same time we have a million students who cannot access education in the first place. If we focus on these hundreds, we will lose millions that can give contribution to us, and it will get worse, because underprivileged students urgently need education, because this is the most effective way to help them break the structural poverty. If they can access education or better education, they will have knowledge that helps them to survive in work life after school. They can get a better job because they have knowledge or high school diploma. It's obviously will help the country to eradicate poverty. More priorities in underprivileged scholarship means more underprivileged students can get better and higher education, which means more opportunities to eradicate poverty in our country. Means even if it won't have a direct impact on the country, it will eradicate poverty in the long term, meaning it will solve the root of the problem. Because of the reason we proud to oppose